Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces, issue 29, Death. On the cover, we see the elaborately runed chalk circle in pink. At the bottom edge of the circle, the chalk has been wiped away. The entirety of the rest of the cover is solid black. We turn the page and our story begins.
Myriad, what do you do? I'm gonna start there. Faye just hit the ground, and Zeokev is stretching and roaring.
I think Gollum is going to look at the demon, and I think there's this panel where they both stand in front of each other, both monsters, and in a similar pose, and suddenly Gollum just snarls at the monster and goes, "Oh, you made a big mistake." And I'm wondering if I can roll for my adult move, stand up for something, because I'm standing up for Faye. Like, I'm trying to get the monster to pay attention to me, basically.
Yeah, I'll give that. Because I think, like, during this standoff, we see Zeokev's arm, like, reaching out to grab Faye's limp body. So yeah, go ahead and roll to stand up for something.
So that's an 11. And I think...
On a 10 plus, choose 2.
So I think she can't keep doing what she's doing, the monster. And so I think she can't keep doing what she's doing, and I think she has to address me. Those are the two that I pick.
Okay, excellent. We see Zeokev like square off, and the tail starts like kind of snapping aggressively instead of reaching towards Faye. And I think in the we get a panel like over your shoulder seeing this, and behind Zeokev we see like Faye start to twitch a bit as she's waking up. And Zeokev looks at Gollum, just, why do you even care about her?
Oh, I'm not the part that cares. I'm just the part that's gonna kill you.
She charges you, just swinging claws and teeth. What do you do?
I'm going to just shout to the others, "Let's do this," and then just take a swipe back.
Go ahead and roll to directly engage.
I assume I'm not terrifying the demon, right?
I don't think so.
But I am going to do it with my reality storm, and spend both of my burns to not have collateral.
That's good. I think literally the only things in this room that could be collateral damage are teammates.
So I think that means that as I swipe back at the monster, my body, like the flames around my body, flame up higher. Okay, so I rolled a 9.
So pick one.
I'm going to resist or avoid their blows.
Awesome. So
am I awake enough to spend a team to make that 2 instead of 1?
I don't think you are yet. I think Brian still could.
Or we could have Supai do it.
I think Brian needs, he's kind of controlling the nanomachines.
As we get Gollum lunging forward this punch, Supai like runs up Gollum's back and swings down with both tentacles, and they're going to spend a team and give you 10, so you can pick 2.
Like, I don't think we can frighten it, right? So, not what we're doing. So I'm just going to take something from her, and I'm going to immobilize the demon, if that's possible, or just at least keep it in that spot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we get a panel, like several panels of you just laying these flaming punches into Zeokev's face, and they're like swinging with their claws and just narrowly missing you. And then we get like you holding down one arm, Supai wrapping both flaming tendrils around the other arm and just kind of pulling Zeokev and holding her in place. It's not going to last long. You're strong, but she is strong as hell. Yeah. But she is temporarily immobilized. And Faye, I think you start to like stir and open your eyes.
Can I get one last panel in Carl's Mind Sanctuary before I wake up?
Yeah, absolutely. What's that panel look like?
I think on one of the walls of Carl's Sanctuary, we see the like wall kind of shatter, and through the stained glass, we can see this fight. And I want to look at Carl and be like, I know it's safer here, but I have to finish this. Can I go? will you forgive me if I leave?
And Carl just looks at her and says, I always forgive you. Isn't that what I do? Just, if it gets too much there, just come back.
I think I look at Carl. Carl is like person form right now, right? Like bug form, Carl?
He's a big, blue, blobby, huggable giant.
Does he have a face?
Yeah, he has his characteristic grin on his face like he always does.
Cool. I want to lean in and I want to be like, I know you do. And I love you for that. And I want to kiss Carl. And that's when I wake up.
Oh, it's so adorable.
Oh, delightful. We turn the page in our next panel. We see Faye's eyes snap open just as Ziokiev stomps on the ground. And we see this crack in the ground go between Golem's legs and hit the edge of the force field. And we get our next panel is Ryder on the outside. Ryder, you have a choice. This hit the force field hard. You can either take a powerful blow or drop the force field.
I'll take a powerful blow.
Go ahead and roll it. That's a 6. Tell me what that looks like.
We see the crack as it forms and it hits the wall, and I just literally, Ryder just, it kind of like he kind of pushes back, and then he reopens his eyes because now that the power is drained from his body, it's all in the coin. You see him open his eyes, and like the divine energy that's pouring out of the coin is now pouring out of his eyes as he refocuses everything into the coin. But you can also see that the crack on the ground also has that same light pouring out from underneath it. So this force field covers every angle.
Oh, love it. And we're going to cut back in. Ziokiev is being held in place, not well, but immobile by Golem and Supai. Asimov, what does it look like while you're controlling these nanobots? Are you using a device to do it, or?
I'm swinging my arms around, and yeah, they're following my arms.
Oh, excellent. So, like, are you basically like shadow dancing phase movements?
It's more maybe like water bending.
Oh, excellent. I like it. And Faye, I think we get the panels of you like rising up to your feet, covered mostly, I'm assuming, in this like metal shining substance, maybe like bits of your flesh showing through. What do you do? And you are behind.
I think I want to. Cool. I want to speak, and I want to be like, Carl, connect me to Ziokiev.
I think Golem looks at her and cocks an eyebrow and goes, "So he let you out? Interesting." And then he grabs the demon and makes the contact.
I want you to directly engage for that. I think Ziokiev's fighting this hard.
Since it's not a flame move, I'm going to nerf myself a little bit and use a regular engage. Ooh, that's a 5.
I can spend 1 to help that.
What does that look like?
I think we see like Ziokiev like physically fighting, and I think I want to like signal to Supai and be like, "We need to restrain her now." And I want to like grab. I think I'm telekinetically grabbing Ziokiev and trying to hold her in place.
Is the telekinesis your power or the demon's power?
The telekinesis is the demon's power. I think I have basic What do I have without the demon's powers?
You're covered in nanobots.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I just like reach down, just like grab Ziyokiev's face and just push her back. But I think I need Supai to spend the other team to do the thing.
Yeah, we get a panel of Supai just bursting out another 12 tentacles of flame from their chest and just wrapping Ziokiev every way they can. And that brings it up to a 7.
So then Carl chooses one from the list?
Yeah, and it would be either take something from them or create an opportunity. Either one. You can just use this to enter the mind, but you won't be able to resist or avoid their blows during this if you want to also do the mind connection.
Yeah, no, I want to do the mind connection. And I want to ask you as a GM what that would look like in my mind sanctuary.
I have an idea. Can I roll with it?
You can completely roll with it.
Cool. We see like Golem lunge forward, I think grab Ziokiev, but like Ziokiev's head between both hands. We turn the page and our next panel is Faye and Gollum, Carl, I don't know what form you're in at this point, in your mind sanctuary.
So inside the Mind Sanctuary would be Carl just calmly sitting in a glade, waiting for what's going
And
to
hey,
happen.
what do you look like in this?
I don't think I look any different. I think that Faye right now is like her truest self.
So no
like
nanobots.
hair messed up, no nanobots, yeah. So just her regular like shredded hoodie, shredded white jeans. Her hair is a mess. Her face is like dirt smeared. She has cuts and scars all over her from her time in hell. But this is her at her strongest.
And we get a couple panels of just quiet between the two of you, but it gets slightly darker, as if the sun's setting in the distance in each panel. To our third panel, like the majority of light is coming from. Are you okay with fireflies in here, Carl?
Yeah, fireflies sound perfect. Also, I'd like to point out for the listeners that in all of the panels in the past that we've seen of the sanctuary, it's always been bright daylight, except for the time when we want to get the demon.
Yeah. And once we have this dark place that's only being lit by fireflies, we start seeing these pink eyes open up in the woods. There's just dozens of glowing eyes staring down, like from all directions. We hear like this low, distant growl.
I want to like, because this is a hive mind that I've been connected to a bunch of times, I think I want to like look at Carl and be like, Carl, can I have control again?
I think this is one of the first times where we see Carl scared, because he doesn't quite understand how the demon is able to have so much power inside of this realm. So he just looks at Faye and goes, "Yeah, you handle this one."
And then I want to reshape the sanctuary and just move the trees out of the way and leave the demon exposed.
Give me an unleash. That's a 5.
Since this is unleashing on Carl's mind sanctuary, do I get a +1 to that since I have influence over
I'm
him?
not going to give you a +1 for that now. You're fighting more against the demon's influence than against Carl. We see the trees start to reform. We see this clear path to the brightest set of pink eyes. And I think we see you start to take a few steps towards it, and then they wink out. And we get this panel that's showing you from the front. Behind you, Carl sitting, and Ziokiev like rising up above Carl, about to slash down with her claws. And we're going to cut outside.
Can I add one more thing to that as part of the fail? So I think I wasn't planning on having any narrative control with Carl in the sanctuary. So I think as this happens, you see Carl grow smaller and smaller and turn into like a childlike form. That's just scared.
Oof, excellent. And when we cut back outside, we see is Gollum still active doing the Gollum thing outside? Like, is Carl and Gollum kind of split at this point?
Yeah, I think what's been going on the entire time with Myriad and stuff too is that there's like an entire split of personalities going on.
Cool, that's
here.
what I thought. I just want to make sure. And so you didn't choose to avoid or resist or avoid their blows, so I'm going to give you the choice. Is Gollum taking this blow, or is Supai?
I'll take it.
We cut back outside and we see Ziokiev with Gollum's hands on both sides of her head. And then we pull back out and see Ziokiev's arm straight through Gollum's chest. And that's an 11. I wasn't going to go that hardcore, but you rolled the 11 as I was describing it, so why not?
Yeah, I figured you might want to use it.
And on a 10 plus, choose one.
What do you think I should?
I don't know. I refuse to take responsibility for this, so I'm not giving advice. Feel free to turn to your team.
I think as the demon goes through my chest, I think Gollum just explodes into a giant fireball and is just gone.
Oof. Supai like jumps back. I think all the tentacles like let go of Ziokiev at this point, and they look around the room, panicked, realize it's at this point Ziokiev, Brian, and Faye, but Faye is not in her mind right now. So they look at Brian like, I guess last chance, and run at Zeokev again, swinging tentacles. Brian, what are you doing?
I'm going to thrust my finger forward at the thing and try to make spikes of nanobots fly out at the demon.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll to directly engage. And I like that like Faye is probably like locked on, still holding Zeokev. So we get these like spikes of nanobots stabbing between them. That's a 10. Go ahead and pick 2.
Well, I'm definitely creating an opportunity for our allies. And I am going to... If it's... Am I like in danger of... like for resist or avoid their blows? If I pick that, will it actually do anything?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pick that.
Excellent.
Because I still need to give Faye a talking to.
We get this panel of hitting the demon simultaneously, these like spears of nanobots going through one side, and Supai just laying down a barrage of tentacle slashes. And we see Zeokev like what almost looks like fear in her eyes as she's like cowering back from the two of you. We're going to cut back into the Mind Sanctuary. Faye, you spin to see Zeokev with her hand around Carl's throat. What do you do?
I look at her and I'm like, I'm still connected to you in here. So get off my boyfriend, you fucking bitch. Then I just want to directly engage a threat to shatter her off of him.
What does it look like?
Because I'm connected to her back in here, it's the stained glass look one last time.
Cool.
And I reach my hand out, and I think, depending on how the roll goes, I reach my hand out, and we see the stained glass like appear up her arm. And whether or not it shatters depends on how well this roll goes. That's a 13.
Pick 2.
I want to take something from them. I want to take Carl from them. And I think I want to frighten her.
Okay.
I guess impress, surprise, or frighten. I would ideally be frightening her.
I will point out you are not avoiding her blows. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. So we get this panel and we see her holding Carl, and her arms start turning to the stained glass and shatter. And she like jumps backward. Carl falls to the ground. And she stares down at her arms for just a moment, then looks at you and goes, "You can have him. You know he's already dead, right? And I'd like you to take a powerful blow."
That's a 10.
Oh, geez.
What you picking?
I think poetically, the best choices for this to have... I think poetically, the first time I rolled a 10, I lost control of my powers. I think it has to be that I lose control of my powers in a terrible way.
Do you have an idea for what that looks
And
like?
I think I destroy Carl's mind sanctuary. I think I like let out that scream again, and we see Carl's mind sanctuary turn into that shattered glass and just shatter, and I like come out back in the real world.
I want to add one thing to that.
Yeah.
So I think it happens a little bit slower than shatters. I think everything turns into stained glass all around, and the stained glass starts falling into pieces. And as the pieces fall, we see the outside world appearing. And I think just before the last few pieces fall, Carl looks at Faye and goes, "I forgot to say it earlier, but I love you too, you know." And then just shatters like the rest of the glass.
And I think the second I am out in the real world, I grab my flail and I bring it down right on her skull.
We get the panel of you in the real world, and she is skewered by these pikes, having trouble moving, kind of attached to your body still, cowering back from these flame whips. But we see her make eye contact with you and just smile. Go ahead and roll to directly engage. Actually, go ahead and roll to overwhelm a vulnerable foe.
Cool, sweet. That's a 12.
And I don't remember that move.
When you overwhelm a vulnerable foe, roll plus danger. I'm going to cause serious collateral damage. I want to destroy my sanctuary. I think the stained glass effect keeps going out of Carl's mind sanctuary, and we see my sanctuary just start to shatter.
I'm going to jump in for this.
How is this a good effect?
Cool, go ahead.
So we get like Zeokev start to crystallize into the stained glass, and then the effect spreads across the ground that you're standing on. And from the inside, we see like the inside of this golden shield start to like hover over. And we're going to cut out to Ryder. Ryder, your view is now obstructed. You're seeing this shield slowly becoming this stained glass. What do you do?
Can I see that the battle is won? Because I think the demon is definitely dead. Can I see the battle is won?
I think you saw it turning to stained glass. You've seen everything I described up to that point.
I think the glow vanishes, the coin falls to the floor, and then Ryder falls to the floor. And I think that's going to be what happens as the sanctuary disappears around him.
Excellent. I think our next panel is the chapel. And who do we see like running out of it, and in what order?
I think we see the chapel collapse. And then I think it'd be really cool if like the next thing we see is like the nanobots like push a section out, and we see like the nanobots had made like a dome over all of us. So like the chapel collapsed, but we were underneath the dome and like protected from it.
Oh, I'm good with that. And then from there we get this overhead shot of, I guess it's the 4 of you at this point. Ryder still passed out, and we see like well behind the chapel, because the underground bit was fairly large. We see just the ground starting to cave in a bit, and then a couple panels of this, and then this eerie stillness.
I think Ryder would wake up, look over to Faye, and go, "Did we win?"
Faye's face is just covered in tears. And she looks at him and she says, "Yeah, we won."
Good. I'm gonna take a nap. And then his head is the ground again, and he's out.
And I think I look down at my hand, and in my hand is the body of the dung beetle Hope.
Yeah, we get the panel of you holding Hope, and then Hope moves one little leg, and then these translucent pink wings come out from Hope, and it takes off, flying into the sky. I think we get a couple panels that the team doesn't see of Hope, like flying above Moon Harbor, and then eventually settling down or coming down into some woods.
As that thing's flying away, I'm slowly walking up. Hey, Faye, is it? Glad you're awake. I took your advice to heart, really thought about it hard, and, well, I concluded you were wrong. Nobody had to die, and you can see, nobody did die. But I just gotta ask, what was with all that abstract Carl brain stuff? I mean, yeah, I saw you doing that. I gave you nanobots. You were like invincible, unless you got choked or something. But well, I guess even that'd be difficult. And then he starts trailing off, and then he slowly comes back. But anyways, I mean, you should be more appreciative. We got this.
I look over and I'm like, Brian, you're wrong. Carl's gone.
Then Brian, take a powerful blow, please.
Oh, Brian can take a powerful blow whenever he wants. Go ahead and take that powerful blow. Asimov was just like, oh, I just assumed his next form was invisible.
Well, I guess the way I'm withstanding the blow with the 6, you just see me blankly staring out ahead, and then I snap back, and I'm like, oh, I'm sure he'll come back. You know how it is in this kind of world.
Can I actually say that you stare blankly ahead, and then we restructure, so you stare blankly ahead, and that's when I look down at Hope in my hand, and then we get the moment of Hope flying away and end the issue with Hope landing in the woods.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year, or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. She can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter, or TPHuth94 on Instagram. Faces is GM by me, Anthony Sheets. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at itsexphp on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Carl is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him on Twitter as Jill Bareka. Faye was played by T. Huth. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at the Versian on Twitter.
and as Kaido Kane on Twitch.tv. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out on patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus episodes each month. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.